This is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Friday the 13th is finally here on Good Morning Uganda. Friday special, the second Friday again this week of 2023. Good morning and you're welcome to the final show of the week. My name is Philomena Masco and well, we are here to spice up your Friday. Your weekend is officially in for some people, and for others there is still a couple of hours to the end, and we see how we're going to find our way through the weekend. Well, it's going to be an amazing show. Very beautiful things to reveal to you. Very interesting conversations we are bound to have between now and the hour of 9 a.m. But of course, I am with a gentleman this morning. I do have Uncle Bob Robert Chirabo Nyonyi to know this morning. And the lost soul. We have been missing his face this whole time, but the soul is back. Ladies and gentlemen, please.
Can you imagine what Robert said?
What did he say?
The prodigal son.
Robert. This guy is just cutting word. But Felix, welcome back. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't know if it's still late to say Happy New Year, but how are you? How are you doing? Where have you been? You're looking nice.
Am I? Okay. Good morning. How are you guys?
Lovely. I am lovely.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's good to see you, Bob.
Oh, I just want to welcome you back from the honeymoon. I can see it all over your face.
The man never changes.
This one, from 2022, it's still the same. There is no business of New Year, New Me with Robert.
Anyways, I've been all right. It's been a bit away for some time, but it was necessary. But I'm back. Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year.
I said Merry Christmas at least, and I'm thankful to God that we have come this far already. I think second week of the year.
Yes,
and the sky can only be the limit as we do start this year. Good things await all of us. That's the prayer we did. At least I was able to have a very nice shift into the year, full of prayer, full of expectation, and tapping into the covenants of the heavenly. So I believe it's going to be a good one.
Amen.
And if you ask if I'm fine, I am awesome.
Wow. 2 weeks in this year 2023, it's been already craziness all over the place. I'm sure Uncle Bobby knows what I'm talking about. Good morning, Uncle Bob. How are you doing?
I'm very fine. Good morning to you. I'm excited to have Felix back, I must be very honest. Sometimes, you know, when there's a big brother and a young brother, sometimes you miss that poking.
So who's the big brother between the two of you? I just
He's a senior parent, so...
Okay. I'm happy to take that.
So in that category, he started certain things earlier, so he qualifies to be a big brother. Sometimes I do consultations. I consult him on certain issues.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
You didn't know. I consult him on certain issues. I must be very honest. Yeah, I do some consultation. Sometimes I get the right advice. Sometimes I'm like, why did I even bother? But I'm happy that...
You know, there is always, you know, the sibling conflicts are always there, and they're healthy. They're healthy. Yes.
So I've been missing him. You know, when you miss someone, if you want to give him goro, that you can give, but now the guy is back. I'm so very happy. Welcome back, Felix.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. Well, so much has been happening, Felix. Yeah. But yesterday, I saw this border operation. I must say it is good because the riders must have the documents. But then I try to ask myself, Police Traffic Directorates gave this Nampima, the spokesperson, came out on Monday and said by Thursday, all border should have driving permits. Now, KCCA had just done a research showing how many riders didn't have permits.
Yes.
And they wanted to ensure that the riders get permits. But you give them Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 days
yes.
to have a driving license. But at the back of my mind, I tried to carry out some research, go through, see how quick can someone get a driving license. Because we believe they must go through a driving school.
That's true.
So in 2 days, how had one gone through a driving school? That is a question I asked myself. Was this intended to impound them and they get these express penalties, then they just get money coming in the consolidated fund? But also, most of the times, corruption tendencies prevailing over. Or, because even there was some training for border riders, but when I was consulting a number of them, even those that had those documents, their motorcycles had been impounded and they were at police as well. So I kept on asking myself, where is the goodwill in all these things? You know, because sometimes there are always people who are there and they are going to analyze what you've said.
Yes.
If someone is to go through a driving school, get a driving license, or the people you trained, the papers they got, these trainings we had in divisions, of course, if you turned up, but if you're not accepting them and you're impounding their motorcycles, as of yesterday, the big question was, what was the intention of this operation? Then when you pledge and tell these people we are working on ways to ensure you get driving licenses at a subsidized price, then before you've come out with clear guidelines, then you're impounding. I'm like, well, I think sometimes there's something that is lacking in a number of ways. However, that said, I still had some joy yesterday when our police and other security forces were able to arrest an ADF suspect, and they were parading heavy weaponry, my AK-47s, bullets, so many chemicals used to manufacture bombs or explosives. And guess what? This is a man who came in Machidi Salama Road, they rented a 2-roomed house, but it was fine that these guys were not staying there. But the landlord was comfortable. I gave them a house. The LC chairperson was very clear that, you know what happens? Here, once they pick the money, it is all done. So that spoke to how vigilant are we as communities.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
If someone comes to you on an apartment and your neighbor doesn't stay there, but you see him come with 3-4 people, do some stuff, then move away, and you know, you
There
don't.
are very many criminals in there, Robert. You'd be shocked if they actually revealed every single one of them, or if they managed to capture all of them. But there is a lot of criminality that's happening. But I'm also very glad that police, somewhat, is still vigilant. But also, the queen of the morning is here with us.
You just saved me.
Good morning, Mullen. Leave this
the
gentleman. Good morning, Mullen. I don't know why these people.
Queen of the morning.
Wow.
Philo this morning just put me across social media, wanting me to explain how it feels like to wake up at 4.
Yes.
It feels okay. It's okay. My body has adjusted and I'm okay with that. So yes, it's a good morning, and I want to say good morning to our viewers. This Uganda, you just have to adjust to your routine. If your job says you should be at work by 5, be there. And at the end of the day, it's you who benefits. So I actually want to extend some advice to everyone. If this year, this 2023, you wake up beyond 6, my dear, you better be rich. You better be rich. Otherwise, actually not rich, wealthy, because there is a whole difference between being rich and wealthy. If you're rich, you still have to wake up before 6. But maybe unless you're wealthy and you have the luxury, please wake up at any time. But this year, please wake up early. Make some money.
I saw somebody recommending that for your health, you're actually supposed to be up by 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yes, 5 a.m. Look at you, all healthy gentlemen and ladies. You wake up way before that time. So it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, Felix?
So if, if so be said by the queen of the morning, who am I?
But also one thing I've come to notice, the wealthy people never sleep. I don't know if they have more problems than the poor. Those people never sleep. I don't want to mention names, but I know at least Felix usually travels around some night time. But you find these guys at 1, at 2. You're like, isn't that so-and-so? He's touring his hotels. Isn't that so-and-so? What the hell? You know, this is his place. What the hell is he doing there? at this time with all the money he has. Those people don't sleep.
But if he doesn't do that, the
It
money
has
will
to
go.
be accumulated. You also have to sustain
But the
it.
poor sleep, yeah, now.
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. Like I say, the conversations that we are bound to have today are going to, you know, probably pull some nerves here and there, but we'll find a way around.
Okay.
Just make sure you're part of these conversations. Get into our socials, Twitter, hashtag UBCGMU, and of course our WhatsApp is always open for your engagement. We would love to hear from you, and we'll be very excited to know that you are with us as we are navigating through the early hours of the morning. For now, we're going to be looking at some stories making headlines locally and of course across the continent and beyond that.
Well, we'll begin with some good story for women in markets in Wachiso district, where His Excellency gave them some money. President Yoweri Museveni extended a helping hand to women in 220 women and vendors in 220 markets in Wachiso district. The business boost package was delivered by the officials from the State House Political Department led by Princess Paulina Nassolo and Miss Flora Kabibi. Meeting the vendors, majorly women from Salye, Busukuma, Magenje and Naria Magonja markets, all in Wakiso district, Princess Nassolo said President Museveni decided to give them financial support to enable them sustain their businesses as they await to also benefit from other government development programs such as Parish Development Model, PDM, and Emyoga. She added that the President cares for their welfare and it's upon him as a visionary leader to help them fight poverty and create wealth, which is key in achieving Uganda's socio-economic transformation agenda.
Well, still looking at local stories, while we do see Cabinet has approved the signing of a production sharing agreement and grant of exploration license for an initial 2 years period to Uganda National Oil Company and DGR Energy to Rako Uganda and SMC Limited. Now, Cabinet also noted that the 37th NRA Liberation shall be held on the 26th January in Kakumiro District. Minister of the State for ICT, Geoffrey Chabanga, while addressing journalists at the media center in Kampala, said the preparations did already commence.
And moving on, we now look at a joint operation of UPDF and Uganda Police, which recovered items such as guns, bomb-making equipment, among others, from a private residence along Salama Road, Machinde Division, which is allegedly to be one of the residents of a suspected ADF rebel. According to Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Patrick Onyango, clues of this operation were linked by one of the suspects arrested recently. Till date, UPDF and police continue intensifying their search for allied democratic forces rebels who sneaked into the country with the intention of antagonizing the country's security. With others still at large, many have so far been arrested, with the latest being one Kayemba Mohammed, also known as MK, who was arrested in an operation recently conducted. Details of their operations have been merged, and police says they are able to arrest still many others. With the help of Kayemba, security operatives conducted a surprise house search in Machinde along Sarama Road, where these items were recovered.
Now, movers of the essential motion against Housing State Minister Persis Namuganza have been tasked to seek certification from the sources of the videos submitted as evidence. The Select Committee of Parliament scrutinizing the essential motion seeks to ensure all electronic evidence presented is authentic and well transcripted. And now chaired by the Mbara South Member of Parliament, Muine Mpaka Ramirama, the 7-member committee has up to 11 days to deliver on this task.
Well, crossing over to the international stories, a small number of classified documents have been found at United States President Joe Biden's residence in the state of Delaware. The White House has confirmed, saying the files were turned over to the Department of Justice. White House Special Counsel Richard said on Thursday that documents with classified markings that date back to Biden's time as vice president were found in the garage at the now president's home in Wilmington, Delaware. An additional one-page document was found in a room adjacent to the garage, Silber said in a statement. No documents were found in Joe and Jill Biden's second home in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Richard said the Department of Justice was immediately notified after the documents were located, and department lawyers took custody of the records. Now, weeks-long protests that have left dozens dead across Peru continued on Thursday with escalating tensions in Andean city Cusco, prompting the government to preemptively close the tourist hub's airport. Supporters of ousted President Pedro Castillo have marched and barricaded streets around the South American country, demanding new elections and the removal of current leader Dina Boluarte. The demonstrations have at times turned violent, and clashes with security forces have left 42 people dead, including a police officer who was burned alive in a vehicle, while hundreds more have been injured. Almost half of the victims died in clashes Monday night in the southern Puno region, where 17 people were due to be buried on Thursday. Major flashpoints have occurred near the country's airports, guarded by security forces after protesters stormed runways during an initial wave of uprisings in early December.
In another story, the U.S. government has offered a $10 million cash reward for information about Mohamed Abdi Aden, the alleged mastermind of the 2019 attack on the hotel and office complex in Kenyan capital Nairobi, that is in 2019. Mr. Aden was allegedly part of the cell that planned the Dust D2 hotel attack, which resulted in the death of 22 people. The Somalia-based militant group Al-Shabaab said it carried out the assault, and the U.S. says Aden is wanted alongside other suspected militants. Now the reward is offered with the full support of the Kenyan authorities. Several people accused of playing various roles in the runner-up to the attack have been arrested and arraigned in court, but no one has been convicted on charges linked to the attack. One of the world's largest oil companies accurately forecast how climate change would cause global temperatures to rise as long as 1970s, researchers claim. ExxonMobil's private research predicted how burning fossil fuels would warm the planet, but the company publicly denied the link, they suggest. Now, the academics analyzed data in the company's internal documents, and ExxonMobil denied the allegations. Corporations, including ExxonMobil, had billions from selling fossil fuels that release emissions that scientists and governments and the UN say cause global warming. Now, the findings suggest that ExxonMobil's predictions were often more accurate than even the world's leading NASA scientists.
Well, good morning, Uganda Friday special is still going on, but guys, I don't know. Yesterday I was looking at the World Happy Index that came out, and it showed that in the East African region, Uganda is the happiest country, then followed by Kenya, and then we also had a few countries on the African continent. If my memory serves me right, we had Tanzania there. We also had Ethiopia among the top. Are Ugandans happy?
Are you happy?
I am happy as Philomena.
Ask each one of these guys.
Felix, are you happy?
Look at me.
I don't know what that could
the definition of happiness at this point. If they are saying Uganda is one of the on top of the happiest people in the world, no, no, it's not.
Robert, are you happy?
He's surviving.
No, but I think we need to revise this happiness.
What is the definition of this happiness?
One thing I would say is Ugandans are hospitable. You know, they show that happiness when you come in, even by virtue of how we greet, contrary to some countries in East Africa I've gone to. Ugandans usually don't mind their own business. They are concerned, hello, how are you? So I think that is what lied them.
No, but I'll tell you something.
But happiness,
as well.
I hope it matches with the poverty.
And happiness has nothing to do with financial, and that's where I think we get it from. I'll tell you a story that I know quite. The late Pope Paul II, was it? Now Saint Pope Paul, when he visited Uganda around 1980 something, he was so amazed by these people he saw, very poor by the way, struggling. There was war in the north, but they were just so happy, regardless of their problems, their challenges. And I think when you read more into what he was able to do, he actually gave a particular token of money from his own confines of finances from the Vatican. He said, I'm going to give this amount of money to put something for these happy people. And that's about 30, 40 years ago. And that's how we get, if you know, any of you knows Pope Paul, where that place is.
Oh yes, I know. Some
VIPs from that fund is where they built that Pope Paul and bought some other. So when she talked about Uganda being one of the most happiest countries in the world, I really relate. And I'll give you another example. You see that times are hard? Go to nightlife.
Maybe the research was done during night time.
Well, it's
because
that's the biggest carrier of the economy.
This research could have been done at night during night hours.
You can
defend East Africa, you people, we have made tremendous strides. In East Africa, if there is any place that people want to party, any country, which is Uganda, Kenyans want to come to Uganda and enjoy nightlife. Run these board buses, today is Friday, some are boarding, just to come here and spend their weekend. Tanzanians, they will tell you the hub of happiness in this region is Uganda. Sudanese don't want to leave. So, when it comes to nightlife, I'm very sure.
Even when you look at the scale,
in East Africa,
Uganda is standing at 4.60, then Kenya is standing at 4.54, and then Ethiopia at 4.24, Tanzania at 3.70, and Rwanda at 3.27.
No, that is very, very true. Very, very true. Because there are some countries, if you go and you're looking for nightlife, you don't enjoy it like you do in Uganda.
But I feel like I am still going to really go in deep and find out what was the basis of this research, what were the parameters that were used for us to be considered as a happy country, because it is what it is. Come on. Well, good morning, Uganda Friday special is still going on, and when we go for a break, we get back, we'll be having more discussions about what's been happening during the course of this week. We have seen it, violence has become an issue all over the place, women beating fellow women. It's crazy, it's getting out of hand. And our discussion is going to be around this. We'll be back.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso Bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arwakojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Gatawo with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Professional guidance.
There is no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
And of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for Anita Monga and Tayebo?
That is laughable. Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
Every party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only
by one MP, you yourself.
And my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile. Because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all. That enables us all to continue each in their own way. Because we are all different, even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Good Morning Uganda Friday special, the 13th of January 2023. I am very happy because, the conversations about Uganda being a happy country here are taking quite a toll behind the scenes. And again, I would really love to hear from people what they actually think. Are Ugandans really happy? Maybe they need to let us know. Get into our socials.
Are Ugandans really happy from you?
From my perspective, no. They don't really seem to be actually happy. The happiness could be seasonal.
No, let's just do a simple research. Go on the streets of this country, yeah, or streets of Kampala. Ask people if they are happy, or because
Happiness, or the definition of happiness by the research. But I know for a fact that Uganda, happiness has various characteristics, and one of them is what you gave, Robert. Welcoming, courtesy, mannerisms, respect, all these things Ugandans have. Like you, and if you've met Ugandans outside elsewhere in the world, you will be surprised to know that they carry along the same kind of thing. So one of the things I think I know for sure is that, without a doubt, I believe Ugandans are happy people.
For me, one of the things I would say, if they were talking about partying, because even when they're outside Uganda, you find they come up with associations all about socializing, socialization, and merrymaking, being happy. That's what I can say I know about Ugandans. But you know, I don't know the methodologies or what their questionnaires were that came up with that research in the region, because that is very important for you to know what was their yardstick, what they look at to clarify happiness. Because for me, this is what I'll tell you. A person being happy also goes with your social welfare.
Yeah, that's true.
Leave alone the fact that you go to the village and people are excited. There is a celebrity passes and they are so excited. A guest comes in Uganda, I hope hospitable, we shall have that. But there is so much connection with someone's welfare.
Yes.
And what and how they will be happy. You see, though we may say that yes, the rich also cry, but brother.
Well, personally, for me as Philomena, I am happy if I have money. That's it. That's
well spoken, girl.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because then you have Ugandans that their happiness does not have to be whether they have money or not. So even when they have money, there is a system out there that is going to frustrate you. You look at your health system, you look at the education system, things that are related to the country's economy itself that will make you unhappy in this country. Even if you wake up happy, you okay in your family, you as a person, you go to a hospital and you're frustrated. That is something that is beyond your control. It is now on the countryside. So I think this ranking Uganda as a happy country, probably if they said Ugandans as people. But when you say, individual, as an individual you could be happy, but there is something, as you go about your day, there is something about the country that will make you unhappy. Either it's a report of something that happened, probably from government side, or what is happening, or a pothole. There's something in this country that will take away your happiness. So,
as you
I don't know about the statistics, but
I wanted to get in deep. Yeah.
Most of Ugandans are very religious. I must say that, because today Friday, you're going to see people who are in prayers. Saturday people are in prayers. So there is that, you know, religion and faith. There's a way it consoles you and brings happiness out. You meet someone, Salam Alaikum, with a smile. I praise the Lord with a smile. So that, I think they find their address in Christ or in their faith, and that is the yardstick. I would say that even when a pothole hits you, instead of saying Mama Nyabo, someone says, oh Jesus, you know. So there is so that you find them back in one way or the other.
I'm just going to stop you right there. But anyway, I hope you're with us in this conversation. But this morning, we're going to be talking about again something or some issues that we have seen or that are in our societies, especially when it comes to family, when it comes to parenting, when it comes to responsibility as community members, as family members. Now, at the start of this week, we witnessed a very sad occurrence where this video made rounds on social media. We even had the police involved, and we saw these there was one lady, one young girl, who was actually quite in an altercation with other ladies or other young girls, and over a man, at least according to the reports that came in from police. We saw two girls beat a 14-year-old girl, allegedly, yes, over a man. And when you follow the details, okay, this lady was not home. This girl, actually, we can't call her lady because she's young. She's below 18 years of age. She's 14 years old. Now, when you follow the story, of course, there were very many other intricate details. But the one thing that really caught my attention, yes, because we also saw the parents, somebody would be asking, the parents of a 14-year-old girl, why would they not have her in their custody? Why would she be at a man's place? And why would she allegedly be in a relationship with a man? 14 years old. This is an underage girl. So everyone is wondering, this responsibility, we don't even know who to blame anymore. The child, the parent, because first of all, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time and wrong things are happening to you. Now that is even before we get onto the other side. I didn't know how to feel about this, and I would really want to know how all of you feel about this same situation. Maybe I'll just start with you, Robert.
We don't know who to blame. Let me start with the men. The men. I don't want to talk about the actual age. I don't know, but according to the mother I saw in the media, she said the girl is 14 years. And these days, a child of 14 years may look 18 or 16. But I'll start with the men, because according to what we hear, this girl was at this man's place. So the problem is that there is a man somewhere who is still interested in a child who is underage. And when you look at our police reports continuously for the last 3 years, annual crime report, things like defilement, things like rape still continue and keep on increasing year by year. So first, let's look at the men. Because why these girls find themselves in such dangers? That there is someone willing to take advantage of them. One time I found a friend quarreling about ladies overnight. But I told them, if that lady parades herself today and tomorrow, and there's no person willing to pay for the good she's selling, definitely she will not go back tomorrow. But why they're increasing everywhere is because the men who are against them are providing the market. That is why every dark spot in this country where there is funny, you find they're increasing. So the men, let's begin with the men. These young girls are not going for young boys of their age. If they are going for them, then they're just substitutes. But you find such a girl, when I look at some of the video clips, the life she's living, the mother is in absolute poverty. She can't afford it. The father, I don't know where he is. But you see, the young boys can't afford her lifestyle. If you looked at the hair the entire group has, the weaves, the wigs, the nails, the socialization where she is, the hangout places, all require money. So a young boy, these ones senior 4 age mates, senior 5, senior 6, cannot sustain her lifestyle. So it means there is a funder somewhere.
Okay.
So first is the men.
Yes.
These young girls have gotten spoiled because the men in this country, still, when you talk about family, there's so many talking about the women, but what's the father? You see, it is these men who become donors, sperm donors, and they move on. They become like Empanga, Segwanga, then they continue. So, I want to begin with fellow men. We should be held accountable.
Okay.
Factors of economics, demand and supply. If we don't go for these young girls, the boys that would go for them don't have the money to give them the lives that we are giving them. So she will know, if I escape home, now am I going to date Ken who is staying with his father? Am I going to go to Ken's place? No. But if there is Robert's place and I'm going to enjoy myself, he has ability to fund this and that, then they will go. So may I start with the male flock.
Well, Molen, how do you feel about this?
It's mixed feelings, really, because you look at, on the other hand, this is unacceptable behavior, and no matter the circumstances or the reasons as to why this happened, or who is to blame, or who is responsible for causing that, it is still a very, very unfortunate thing. And we look at the fact that, yes, you have a generation where even a girl at 14 feels like she's old enough.
Yes.
And then you have parents who have been absent, and I think Robert has talked about that as well. However, we now have to focus on what is happening with these teenagers, because it looks like all these girls are actually teenagers. And we are not bringing the men in this picture. Now, I don't know, I haven't read anywhere where they're talking about the age of the man in the story. I don't know how old this guy is.
But if you look at this girl went to act, if you saw the house where she was, it's not for a 14-year or 15 or 16. This is a guy who earns and is able to rent and put certain things in the house.
Yeah, and then you also have a situation where I think at this point we would want to blame the girl herself for being involved in such an act. But for me, much of my blame is to the side of the man who is just seated there, recording this video and watching a lot of violence happening there to the people he cares about. Because I don't think this girl came in his life forcefully. Because allegedly now, the lady that was arrested after the beating, she says, no, she was with my man. So meaning that by the time she got the beating, this girl had been involved with the man. So at some point, he does care about Nicole and his friends. So how are you seated there, watching people beat themselves up, and you're just enjoying this, only to wait and post it later? I think it's the kind of perversion in that kind of generation, if I may use the word, that is training around.
Have you heard of that name on social media about echo and echo?
And I think this is, people are taking it serious, because now how are you seated there watching all this happen? But also I want to again, I think, extend a word to these young ladies, because at 14 you have your whole life ahead of you. First of all, you haven't even completed studies. You haven't gotten to a world where you're working for yourself to even sustain your own lifestyle. Because now she's tempted, and this is something that we keep talking about, she's tempted by the lifestyle that she sees on social media about girls having all these expensive wigs, expensive clothes. But you're 14, you don't even have a job, you're still home, and you come from a family that is probably struggling with keeping you with a kind of school life that you have. But then how are you going to manage that? So I think it's the young girls that are trying to live beyond their means that are again attracting this kind of violence in their lives. Be in school and be patient. Have a lifestyle that you can easily afford, or your parents can afford, because no one is judging you at that age. You're not even 18 yet. The age where at least the country considers you to be crossing over into the adult world.
Because right now I am tempted to ask you, Molen, at 14 years, what were you doing?
14 has probably maybe in I don't know, in my secondary level, it's some age. But I do remember that's the time I didn't even know that, you know,
care for anything in the world.
Boys, yes. In my home where I come from, by the way, I have a very, very tough older brother. And he was tough, but he would sit us down and talk to us and say, Molen, look, all you need to care about at this point are your books. And as a very and I always talk about this as a competitive girl in school. I always, as after the grades.
Yes.
So I didn't know anything about boys at 14. I can say it right here, right now. I didn't know anything about boys. All I knew was school. Well, and the results are very evident, because I did end up performing well in my school life. So I think that's the key. You are supposed to be concentrating on your school, not on boys. Well, what do you even have to offer at that age?
Felix, at the age of 14, what were you doing? Whoa.
I think at 14, someone's in probably S2.
Yeah, I think that's
S2.
yeah.
If they're smart enough, they should be in S2. But S2, really?
What do you know about
you should have seen me in S2 as this tiny, like.
Yeah.
But man, and even if I didn't want to focus on this particular scenario, it's hard to directly dive away from it, because it's quite eye-catching, mind-blowing, and definitely mind-puzzling. But when you bring the topic of parenting, Molen, Philo, and Robert, it's a topic that I have learned from what I've seen and what I've heard. It's a topic you may not be conclusive about anything. Sometimes we throw the blame to the parent, or throw the blame to the father. Robert brought in the aspect of the man. But tell you what, one of the things that we never or should never cease to do is to pray for our children. I can tell you honestly, before you have them, when you have them, when you're not with them, I looked at this video. If you want me to comment briefly, I was not around, but this is what I told the person who I was with. I told them, and I want to say this, by the way, and it be on record, that I know that things may never go the way we want for our children, but they're still our children. You don't beat up someone's child like that. And you think I'm going to take it easy on you anyway. There's some things that, and I'm sorry I'll say this, that the law even is not enough for some scenarios. How do you beat my daughter and you start saying she was taking my man? Woman, what are you playing with? I'll rip your eyes out. Honestly, like, we can't be here even, and the country is all sober. We got them, and this was recorded. Mulan I just told you, the first person to be taken to whatever, whether a court of law or police, is the person who's even holding this on camera. What's the intention? What message?
I really want to believe that he could have been the adult on the scene.
And his adulthood would only tell him to make sure this. Maybe it was helpful that for us we got to know as a country.
So that evidence.
But what business is a 14-year-old? I don't know how old the other lady is.
18.
18?
Apparently.
And secondly, what business do an 18 and 14-year have to do fighting for a woman? And this is the evidence of the kind of exposure our children have.
Yes.
Where did these girls, the owners of the man, allegedly, learn that when someone takes your man, you beat them, you pour water on them, you cane them? They must have seen it somewhere. They must have been taught that way. This is the evidence of violence in our homes.
Brother Felix, I feel offended when you refer to this person as a man. Let's get a better name.
Who?
Because if you...
no, but
the
Robert,
videographer.
no, I don't know if it was David.
Both. Okay, the videographer, I'll leave him. Maybe he captured this. But if you're dating, because preliminary investigation indicate that these girls were tipped on and gotten to know that their friend had spent a night at the other one, at the beater's boyfriend's place. Now, just imagine, you date a young girl, knowing, because this pretty Nicole, is it? Even when we try to, she even shows that really this girl is young, to be honest. Now, a person who can open the door of their home to such a young girl, and then she spends a night at your home, shouldn't be called a man.
No, but Robert, I'll
but
tell
also,
you.
yes. Also, maybe even just looking at it, you talk about spending the night out and all of that. Could I actually say that parenting is overpowering some parents?
Say that again?
Parenting is overpowering some parents.
And it's what I said, I think, a couple of weeks ago in the show here. We're discussing something similar. And I say that, you see, being a parent shouldn't be an abrupt happening. It's not something we just check and go. It can be like thunder.
Yeah.
You get it? And that's why I think there's an analogy to having children that meet somebody, go through the processes, if you're able. Probably let the parents know you, because there's people who will always intervene to assist you. You get the point. But today we have parents have met in the discourse.
Some of it on social media.
No wonder, you'd be surprised.
Yes.
No wonder that even the names of the kids reflect where the parents meet.
No,
you find someone called Ambias, someone called now Pretty Murida Amanyas, my Kafta, Queen of Kafta of the Kaf.
But you see, I think the bigger picture here, we look at parenting in a way that these kids have chosen a lifestyle that even their parents are unable to control. Because this is a particular girl who, when upon going to police, when they asked her for her statement, she did not even want to say that. And I hear, and this is according to the spokesperson, saying that she refused to give a statement because she blamed herself. She was saying, this is my fault, I can't mention their names, it's all my fault, I shouldn't have gone to the man.
She's so young.
She's so young. And you as a mother, because the mother was there, I think also I have to question the law here. Because at 14 you're a minor. Who has a final say? Because at that point I think she shouldn't even be making a statement by herself.
She's the victim. No, the mother was there.
Mother was there, but then why is police considering the fact that she refused to cooperate, to kind of have a pause on this particular case? Why not the mother speak on her behalf? Because she's a minor. And probably there are issues of intimidation. These girls were rough if you watched that video. They probably told her, the moment you bring us in any further violence here, or in any case take it to police, we're coming for you. So now she's scared. She thinks they're going to come after her, and she cannot say anything. Now, as the adults in this whole case, the police and the mother involved,
but
what do you do? How do you help her? They're able to get these people because we have evidence in the phone. That means we can easily identify them even without Nicole mentioning their names. So I think that's the process that should be followed. But then again, you bring it back to how far as parents we can go in helping these kids. And I think this is an eye-opener to a lot of the parents out there. Do you know what your 14-year-old is doing when you leave them home? Do you know the kind of friends that she has? Because apparently these people were actually friends. So the influence around them, if she's 14, is she relating to girls of 20 or 18? At that level, this is beyond her age.
And I mean, this is why it makes sense. Our parents back in the day, they would ensure to know, at least my parents and a few of my other friends, our parents ensure to know who are the people Philomena is hanging out with at school. Exactly. Even go ahead and meet some of these parents. I swear to God, if my parents kind of suspected that even the parents are not, they would tell me not to interact with that child again. I don't know whether that is good parenting or not. No.
That is
but
good parenting.
They would make sure they know the parents. Even till now, I can tell you that my siblings, my parents know my siblings' friends and my siblings' friends' parents. They actually communicate. If they are going to meet up, they know that they are going to be chaperoned. They don't care how old you are. Now, when you look at that kind of parenting, is that something that is still happening? A few parents could still be doing that. But when you look at the overall general overview of the parenting, the friendships our children make, because you don't know the kind of people all of the children that our children study with. They all come from different backgrounds. They interact with different people at different times. So, I mean, how do we get to have that system back right now?
And then you also look at some of the clips that were coming out, because these particular girls were already hanging out. You see them at the swimming pool. So even at that age, she could have gotten the idea from now the old ones who are already having a couple, who are already couples, if I can say that. And she probably wanted the same. And no wonder she went after the friends in the group as well, because now, what is the scoop at that age? So I think it speaks a lot to how the kind of friends that your kids have around them, and obviously be keen with the age. The fact that you have a 14-year-old, they should be relating with 12, 13, 15-year-old, and at that age there are things that they would rather concentrate on than being with men. And I think that's key, and it's a role of a parent to be sure about this kind of friendships.
Molen, one thing I told Philo actually the following morning, that I was coming from the side of Kawempe. Remember when I told you in the morning? That yes. So around Kawempe, their police station, I found a crowd of people. And looking through some of the faces, there are guys on social media that have made names. You know, with this app TikTok, there are specific people that have made names throughout. So I was tempted to find out. But one of the things I discovered is element of poverty and community not caring. When I asked what is happening here, they told us there's a girl who was beaten, and of course they were showing the videos. But when the mother arrived, she saw God, everything, she would say Mukama and everything. But said this story. I couldn't educate my child because she failed to make ends meet for her to pay for the education of this young girl. Now, she finds a friend who tells her, let her go to either Gatherland where they teach, where they plait, the ladies, these buildings in Kampala where there's so much plaiting of hair, to learn how to plait hair. Agenda igokole enviri osibe enviri mu salon. So the mother said, okay, thank you. This girl leaves home, goes to learn, because I think there is no age required. Moving from home to Gazaland or some market in the city, learning how to plait hair. Now there she finds friends who are doing the same, but I think these were of a bit advanced age. They become friends. She wakes up one day, tells the mother, the distance here is a bit longer. I can stay at one of my friends' place. The mother, you know, she's struggling here and there, says, is it safe? You can't go. This girl goes and stays with one of the ladies. I think she saw her, who was like, she was veiling herself, strict Muslim. She stays there, she also has children. I said, well, this is our friend. The lady tells them, I'm not going to have a daughter in my house without seeing the parent. So the parents, the mother of Nicole comes and interacts with the mother of these children. This is what happened. When she got bad company, she began hanging out with the bad company. 2 weeks down the road, she's not returned home. They are looking for her, only to get that video clip. Now, after blaming the men, the mother says, poverty. If you don't have transport for your child to go and where she can get the skills, and there's someone willing to take care of her, you would say, okay, because in the olden days, a child would come from Chenjojo, and there is a person who has a home in Kampala, not so, maybe from the same village, and this child comes and commutes from this home to that. But these old places of entertainment, even what we had at Freedom City, what is the age limit that this is what you accept? The people, community, if you're in a bar and you're seeing these young girls, really young, hang out, where is the community responsibility?
But, you know, I understand where you're coming from,
yes,
Robert, when you say that. But like we did say, sometimes nature takes a toll on you.
Mm-hmm.
For a girl who is probably 14 years, she looks older than her age, but she's actually young.
And the body is vibrating.
There are certain people who will believe maybe she's actually at that age. The thing is, maybe they need to have national identification. Maybe some of these places where they go to. I mean, we have seen how some of these other countries do it. They don't care. I think they understood the problem. They understood that people's bodies, you know, they mature differently. That is why they will ask you for identification. Yes. We have seen this. Why can't we incorporate the same, you know, the same system in our very own country here? And now that would have definitely to drag in other people. For example, like Nira, we've had very many people having issues with identification, getting their national IDs, children and all of that. They would have to really smarten up their systems to make sure everyone has a national identity card. I believe this would probably kind of help.
Trust me, Philo, if you... And I believe that is one of the ways, the many ways we could use. But truly and honestly, I think we need to raise our children as being intentional and visionary. And this is the biggest challenge that also comes back to the country standards. That as a country have lacked a general standard of a national vision. Away from these things you hear, Manya Vision, 20 watts, 20...
Middle class.
That is bogus. But even if you want to focus on raising a generation, you must cut out particular appreciations for people to pick on. Like, what do we live for as a country? What do children look up to as a country? Are there general standards appreciated in terms of parenting? For example, it's in this country where now we had a stampede that left people dead. You talked about it here at Freedom City.
Some of them were children.
Most of them.
Actually, most of them, yes.
But then,
5 juveniles.
But trust me and you and me, why would those shows are fully packed by nudity, people are performing, and why, like, national standards? We lack a national standard of decorum, of courtesy as a country. When you go to other countries, some things are abomination. It is in this country where you walk 2 steps and you see prostitutes. I know that we have anything against them. They should have their places.
Not everywhere.
As a national standard for us, it's okay. We have lost the caliber to point fingers because we have all fallen short of what we're supposed to do. And I want to tell you honestly and truly, in S1, every sensible child should be focusing on the kind of future they are going to have. At that point, you're being intentional about who you want to be. If you want to be a doctor, you're trying to look out on what you're going to do. If you want to be a pilot, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an economist, you want to be a journalist, this is the best time for you to start fast forward about your focus in terms of what you want to do.
If you're in school.
Yeah, but why wouldn't, but that's the question, why wouldn't a 14-year be in school?
The mother could enter.
It's not about the mother. Now, school is a right. That's what I'm telling you. It's a national challenge. And these are things we may talk about, the poverty. No, education has nothing to do with poverty. It's an obligation that must be available, either, if not by a parent, at least government should be able to avail education at any cost. Let me tell you, those are some of the indicators of a civilized country. Let's not be shy about this, regardless of the fact whether it's a political talk or not political. If a government cannot provide the minimum appreciation of education, there's a problem. Those are the smallest things. For example, if you cannot go to a hospital and give birth, and that's still a challenge of a government, there's a problem with the government.
There's something not being done.
There's something not right. Let's be honest, flat and square. This whole thing of saying, the mother, fine, the mother can't, but also the government. What is the contribution of government? The criminality we see on the roads is done by 14 years. 14-year-olds are killing people in this country. They are the ones squandering, they are hustling, so they are pickpocketing. It's the same case of these pretty whatever, things you're talking. There is no difference. A 14-year-old murdering someone under a chifesi sort of gang and what is the same thing that you see. These girls are available for defilement. It is unfortunate this pretty thing video came for us to see, but there are many people we don't know that happen every day. Even as we speak right now, there's someone waking up on a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old in this country.
In the same bed.
You get it? And by the way, just so you talk about this pretty thing of pretty whatever thing of yours, there is someone who is marrying them. There's a parent giving them away officially.
Exchanging them for goats.
So you get the point.
And then you say Uganda
you
is a happy
cannot
country.
have this discussion minus you can't exonerate government from this whole nonsensical debacle of things. There's a big role by government. Our children should be in school. If we cannot afford as parents, the government cannot say they are failing. How can we be able to buy a fleet of vehicles for members of parliament after 5 years worth over 200 million, but we can't take children of the nation to school? Now, as other countries are going to be bringing scientists to treat who are getting what solutions for pandemics, what shall we be doing? Celebrating mothers. Because if there are other pretty whatevers giving birth at the age of 14, by the time this woman turns 25, how many children shall he have?
But why don't you also evoke family planning? Because also,
Robert,
I agree with you. Much as government also has a role to play.
You can't take family planning at 14.
Much as government has a role to play. For me, I want to say, even individuals, not everyone should be a parent.
That's the thing.
No, because I agree, government has a role to play. But also as Ugandans, as citizens, if we continue with the rate at which we are giving birth, producing sustainability, we must look at two approaches. We must look at these two approaches.
Yes.
I agree with Felix, but I also want to speak to the men and women in this country. Children must be by choice, not by chance. We must take parenting, how you see, in these other developed countries, because government can do something, but when a problem is so large, you still also end up failing. Let's look at other developed countries where these people may have all these resources, but the numbers are limited. But there is a way we share childbirth in developing countries as a must for everybody.
I think
you're now 25 to Nazareth. Now
the problem is
we must
not,
go back to see.
And in my opinion, I think the problem is not that people are giving birth. I don't think that's the problem.
It is.
In my opinion, I don't think that the problem is this, that because we lack a systematic appreciation of parenting as a country, which should be engulfed in a general vision of at a national level, we have failed totally. This girl, I think she has studied up to about P7, I'm assuming, before she went for these hair things or whatever, where she's doing her hair things. Clearly, she's not even doing hair, they are doing her in any case. Because before she got there, the parents tried up to a certain point.
And they couldn't sustain.
That's the thing. Now, what happens after that? And that's the argument we have been having all the time, that when a child studies 7 years of primary, we are questioning the education.
Because
what our children learning.
Yes. I mean, we have seen parents who have their children do only a certain level, and they're like, for me, I cannot go beyond this.
Some of the richest people
the
who finance the biggest part of Kampala's economy,
yes,
did not go to the universities. Most of us were there flashing ties and white collars and what. No. But they got the basics from either family, society, or where they studied. You go, tell me, the rich people of this Kampala State, the ones you talk about every day.
But you guys,
so I think we need to focus on a national aspect. And I want to be, for me, clear and on record. Let's stop this pretense. The government of Uganda, in whatever effort it does, it is going to build very good roads. We appreciate outside Kampala, though. It is going to build very nice...
In Congo?
In Congo, yeah. It's going to have very nice fleets of cars for ministers. They are going to have good payments for members of parliaments. They are going to... Everything you're going to go, Manana, we have a satellite in NASA, wherever.
Orbit.
But a country is not made by all those things. The human resource of a country, what will transform Uganda, is the ability to have an innovative, problem-solving generation. And you must prepare that. It is not by God's grace. And I love the grace of God, by the way, just so you know. And I believe in it. But you must prepare this generation. If the generation, you don't care about people who are not going to school, you're sure you don't care? You know where Uganda is going to be 20, 40 years from now? If you don't care about the kids, the criminality on the streets, and these are toddlers, you ignore street kids, they're not going to school and you think it's okay? Dude, they're going to come and eat your children. Let's be intentional. This is a national problem. These pretty things, pretty who, kafta of the wear, you're seeing, these are indicators. And thank God we are able to see these ones, to open up our eyes. Parents, lock your doors. For me, lastly, I'll say this. Parents, lock your doors. Let me tell you, not everyone is supposed to be rich. And that's, for me, what people fail to understand. Wealthy, richness has nothing to do with parenting. I don't know why we get these things confused. Robert, and I don't know about people some of you who are free to say. Some of us don't come from wealthy families. And so many great people in this country.
That's true.
It has nothing to do with parenting. Parenting has everything to do with values. Values. The things you teach your children, the things you let your children see and accept to be true. Where all these churches, you don't take your children to church. What do you expect? They don't have, these kids dress half naked. They don't care. Some of us used to be, and because our granny and parents used to tell us, God is going to watch you. God is looking at you. Because the Bible tells us our bodies are temples of the Lord. Kati, how you treat your body, what you dress, you simply, how do you dress Jesus? And this is what my parents used to tell me and my granny all the time you're getting out of the house.
Altar boy.
Oh, mubirigo. Oh, yeah. because you're an altar boy. How do you go, me, I never went through those things. Because on Sunday, I was going to be seen on the altar.
On the altar, yes.
But take your kids to church. You don't want to take your children to church? To Sunday school? 14-year-olds should be reading.
You won't
choir somewhere.
You won't
and
talk to
Sunday
them.
school.
You won't talk to
And
them
here
either.
Guka mu swimming pool. Ya ujja bubina here left right. 14 years.
Good morning.
But you can only give what you have. Look at the parents you're telling to take their children to church. They don't go to church themselves.
And then
themselves have earrings.
But you see, the thing is,
pony hairstyle.
It keeps revolving. You know, there is continuity. This is when they say it's never too late for you to start. Because if I don't go to church, no, if my grandparents didn't go to church, there is no way I expect my parents to have gone to church. And if they don't do that, how am I going to church? And if I don't believe in that, how the hell am I going to take my children to church? So there is
that level. You have
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. Clearly, there is quite a lot
your kids
of
a bit. This thing of
let us clearly now. There is still power in the strokes of a cane.
And you see, when sometimes
always power in
it
that
used to be,
thing.
a child used to be for the community. So at least you also had peers who would help you groom the kid.
But that also has
and I think this is something that has also gone out of the picture, which is why you will see that the entire...
Because you bought a candle, they don't
But
have.
you see,
No,
you
it
see,
may-
this
it
one
may
for
not
a good
necessarily
reason.
be
If my
beating,
neighbor
though.
were to find my kid somewhere in bad company and they drag them home, I would be thankful.
And go ahead and
But
also tell the
because we
parents
don't care,
if you want
even
to
have a neighbor you don't
child.
know, you don't care what goes on in their lives. They also don't care what happens. Even if they meet your child along the way being raped or something, they would rather pass.
They don't even know you're their neighbor.
Exactly.
You don't know who
I
our
think we've
neighbors
also
are.
lost this
Don't.
whole community parenting thing that I think was very key back then and should be even right now. And this is why we're even sitting here talking about parents not being responsible, not doing their roles. And yet this is something that should have come from the values that we attained way back. And it doesn't stop you from learning. At any time, the parents that are watching this or seeing all this the violence play out, it's something to learn from. How are you grooming the kids now? I think it's kind of a check into our lives. Check how your kid is living their lives. It's holidays and we allow them, you know, kids these days have also had rights of asking their parents, Mommy, Daddy, can I go see my friends? And you freely want to say, okay, you go, but you don't know what they're doing out there.
You see them and
so
they
you
see.
think, yes, I think this is what Felix was saying. Lock your doors. Make sure that you're able to know where your kid is going. They'd rather ask you to go to church.
But who started this business of hanging out during holidays? Did you people ever go out during holidays to meet up with my friend?
At that age,
Did you even have friends? The only friend I had was home. Man, you have to start today. Like,
I don't know how
let me tell you,
parents are
at
doing
home,
this.
You have
That's
work
true.
schedule.
Anyway, things change. That's true. But
Parents of today are modern. The children have the right to speak. They even question, Daddy, where are you? You've come back late. Mom is also, Mommy, I don't like this.
No, but if they're going to do it,
scooped so much of Western world.
I understand.
And lose what is our,
we
what
can,
have been values.
we can do that, Robert. We can go in. We can adopt some of those trends, but then we should have our own way of doing it, customizing. If the child is going to meet out, if you really want them to meet out, chaperone them. That's don't drop the child. Go.
Be aware of this particular.
Go with the child. Why are you leaving them dropping
something you can't do? Do you know what hanging out means? Now you're struggling with school fees. It means this kid has to dress well to fit in whatever wagon. Let me tell you, for us, we had our work schedule at home. Wake up at 6. Now, where do you even get time to do? The only time you could get to go and play a bit of football in the evening, but your heart is pumping home. Because you know you have to get water somewhere in Nalukolong. Like all these things, man.
In where?
Kids, get your kids busy. Like COVID time, I was telling parents, and we used to say again and again, you can't be there and your kid, this kafta of Nicole, whatever they call them, Pete of the who, they can't even peel a banana. Kakati, these are the things. Get your children busy at home. These things of hanging out for what?
There is there is feedback coming in, and the gentleman is called Salim.
Hanging out.
And you seeing posters of holiday makers?
Salim.
Tell me that nonsense.
Well, Salim here is saying the problem with the recent generation is early involvement in unprepared sexual activities, which ends in children that will be brought up by single parents. So my advice to parents is that let us take time and groom guide and counsel our children. Indeed, indiscipline is the order of today's generation. Thank you so much, Salim. Well, get into our WhatsApp. Let us know, how can we straighten this? How do we get our children in order? Get onto our Twitter. The hashtag is UBCGMU. There is quite a lot of opinions to be put out there. I mean, it's quite a sentimental topic. The children are really going haywire on the parents, and I mean, we're starting to lose control over a generation we should be able to handle, manage, and also guide to do the right things. This is not just a personal responsibility. Clearly, it's a communal one. It's a national responsibility as well, because even the people who are running the country are parents.
It's what I was telling you earlier.
They are parents. Our leaders are all parents. So
it's a national
yes.
problem. When they call people into the parliament committees, you see, these are mothers. They see how the leaders of this country are lying every day, and they get confident. They see how the opposition, so-called political opposition, is also a play area. You go to the government, same thing, play. Everyone is just playing. Everyone is just trading thuggery. And that's why we say we have lost the national appreciation. But anyway, lastly, if you give me 1 minute, Philip, I'll say this. Parents, this thing of hiding under poverty, and Robert said something, and all of us allude to the fact that poverty is a challenge. It's a matter of fact. It will lead us to, but let's not hide our abilities under poverty. I'm telling you, 95% of Ugandan families are poor. But you don't tell me 95% of Ugandan children have become wasted. You need to be the one to reinvent the wheel in your family. This whole thing of saying, let me tell you guys, in my grandmother's house, she put there at least turkeys to make us busy. Not because take
those children to the parents, I mean, who have farms, and you have people working on the farms. Take the children to the farm.
There are sites in this Kampala. Me, I know one of my best friends. Their father just used to look for sites on the village. He tells them these kids are going to work for free. Holidays. Free. And after the holiday, these kids will come out saying, Daddy, but they were busy. Maybe the site manager gave them 2,000, whatever. They have come out in that process learning something. You people,
well,
poverty.
There you go.
You're going to.
There you go. Quite interesting conversation. We're going for a break, but we still have a lot that we are going to unleash. Again, this is a topic we can never stop talking about. I am pretty sure there are even more serious problems that will come through because not everyone listens. Sadly and unfortunately.
Parents are busy.
Well, we'll be back after this break.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network. It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Good morning, Uganda.
Well, press review this morning, looking at the big stories in our daily monitor. UNEB hikes exam fees for all levels, and of course the increase will be starting with this year's candidates, and it is intended to cover the rising costs of conducting examinations occasioned by the cost of living crisis in the country. Drama Scott freezes UMSC operations. In the eye of the storm, standoff at UMSC headquarters as rival group seeks to evict the Mufti from office, and they claim there was a court order requiring the Mufti to step aside. And of course, showing you the picture of what was happening down there. Husband catches his pregnant wife cheating in hospital. Oopsie. Wow. Aponye MD goes missing, says a family, and cabinet clears Australian farm eunuch for 2 oil blocks.
And you look at issues like that and you just wonder what is happening. We're still talking about a happy country and a happy Uganda, but the things that go on in this country are very, very hard to comprehend. And that's how it becomes really difficult to defend some of these issues. But, well, like the infamous saying that goes on, like, regardless we move, regardless we still move on. And those are some of the stories, of course, that are coming in today in the papers that seem to be leaving a lot of us in a state where you're wondering what is happening across the country. But yes, we move on to what is happening again in the stories that are fronted by New Vision this morning. You look at more of what is happening still on that story. You look at cabinet clears Australian farm, that is, for 2 more oil blocks. Looks like we're going to have more oil coming through. But in the New Vision Museveni context in 2016, they give you more of that. Several leaders have also endorsed the president for another term. That is a story on page 5, and I think this is an interesting one. A lot of leaders are also coming out to say, yes, we still support Mosei, and of course details are in the New Vision for today.
Well, and switching up to the Daily Nation, Raila changes a tune ahead of Ruto visits. Now, could this be a warm-up? Well, local leaders say they will present development with lists. And tea farmers to get 5.5 billion Kenyan shillings in pay and bonus. And Assad rally star Maxine under probe for murder as well. And looking at tributes pour in for the Kenya's TV darling, that is Catherine Kiza Kasavuli. And also still in more news, SMEs among sectors starved of cash, and rights group accuses police of killing 150. Well, looking at the Citizen, Kurasini project stops as government shifts a focus. Now this is down there in Tanzania. Quality of education in the spotlight. Clearly education has taken a toll on the East African region, and I can see concentration and effort being driven towards there. How Kenya resolved 23 trade barriers, winners and losers as DSE stocks fall. And in more investment business news, a FIDA fund exceeds target, collects 12.9 billion Tanzanian shillings. And also looking at national milestone, Mwinyi lists successes on Zanzibar's anniversary. So grab yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor, the New Vision, the Daily Nation, and the Citizen to see what's happening on the East African bloc. Well, Molin is also giving us quite more coming in from the weather and climate. What's going to look like? What's it going to look like during this weekend?
Well, we'll look at more of basically what has been happening over the last couple of days, and we still continue with more sunshine still across the northern part of the country. That takes in eastern Uganda as well. The big story right there is how hot it is. We have temperatures in the 30s, and that is very concerning, but also normal for this time of the year. I'll start off with what is happening for right now over the satellites, that is across Uganda. We're looking at a huge system starting to develop across Lake Victoria. Now, fortunately, that is only bringing a few cloudy conditions across the Lake Victoria Basin, but also it does have a few effects of rains that are coming through, especially for areas of Kalangala Island. Right now, as we speak, we do have a few rains. That system you're looking at, where we're seeing the red colors, yellow to green on the map there, that is indicative of the system that I'm talking about. Now, it seems to be moving westwards, so meaning that it could be bringing us rains also for the western part of Lake Victoria. That takes in areas of Kampala as well, Wakiso, Mukono. We're looking at quite a cloudy morning for you. We do have rains in the forecast for today for that area. Those will be coming in as the morning progresses. We also look at some areas within northwestern part of the country, that is West Nile, where we're seeing a few clouds starting to develop over there, and most likely that will also be bringing us a little bit of sunny intervals, not enough to bring rains, but at least there is a relief in terms of cloudy weather. Otherwise, the open gray colors right there do indicate mostly a sunny morning. That is all the way from Gulu, Padel, Patch, Amuria, Soroti, extending to Kochido, Moroto. Also looking at the Elgon area, Mbale. We're starting off with quite a warm one for you, and with mostly sunny conditions. Now also southwestern Uganda, we're looking at Kabale Highlands, Mbarara, Bushenyi, extending all the way up to Fort Porto. We're looking at midwestern Uganda, Hoima, starting off with a sunny morning. We do have a few clouds that are starting to develop for Mubende. That area might also be receiving a bit of rains later as the morning grows. We might also have a few rains crossover into the afternoon, but that will be for mostly areas around Lake Victoria. That does take in the central part of the country, where we have the eastern side, at least eastern central, where we have areas like Nakasongola, Ruwero, Woblenzi right now, starting off with mostly sunny intervals, but we do have rains in the forecast for today, and that is what is likely to dominate much more of your morning. Now, in terms of temperatures, we're looking at temperatures rising into the 30s later in the afternoon. That will be for areas within northern Uganda and the eastern side. Also Mount Elgon area, we're looking at temperatures going into the upper 20s. But for the Lake Victoria Basin, we're starting off quite chilly with about 24 degrees for this morning, and also looking at areas of Masaka, where we do expect some rains also this morning, crossing over into the afternoon. We'll have temperatures at least within the lower 20s. Same for southwestern Uganda, temperatures will also be in the lower 20s, and also with likelihood of rainy conditions that will help to keep those temperatures down. But also a further look at what is likely to happen for this weekend and the overview of what is happening today. We take a look at some of what is coming through from the models, indicating mostly a sunny day as well, still over the northern parts of the country. Also for areas within eastern Uganda, midwestern Uganda, still in the forecast for mostly sunny weather. We do have a few rains in the forecast, where we see the green or blue colors right there as shown in the screen. That is where we do expect to have most of those rainy conditions, but also in smaller quantities according to the color pattern right there. Now, if you look closely to the eastern side, to the side of the Indian Ocean, you do see some red colors right there and yellow. That is where we're starting to have a low pressure system, and this system is the one responsible for keeping away some of the moist wet weather conditions that would be coming towards our country. Now, as we move further into the weekend, we will see this system develop further. It starts to develop as we head into Saturday. That means we will still continue with similar weather, having mostly dry weather for the northern part of the country, eastern Uganda, as well as the western sector. We do have a few rains still in the forecast, that is across Lake Victoria Basin, but also those will be in smaller quantities, so just a bit of drizzles or a few rains across a few areas, so not enough again to really contribute enough in terms of wet weather activities. That is Saturday for you. And as we head into Sunday, we still look at that low pressure system still over the Indian Ocean developing further, and that is where we have now all the moist winds from the ocean also being driven too. So that means that leaves a few of the winds coming from the southeast that would have influenced our wet weather activities across the country. So that will still leave us mostly with dry conditions over the northern sector, eastern Uganda, where you see the open white colors. That is indicative of dry and hot weather that is likely to continue for Sunday over Uganda. That takes in the western stretch as well, except a few areas within the southwestern, that is Covered Island. Also, it does extend towards areas of Mbarara, Lake Victoria Basin, where we're seeing those light blue colors. We do expect to have a little bit of a few rains, but also not enough to make a contribution in terms of probably reducing temperatures. So we're still going to be looking at a warm weekend and a sunny weekend for you right out there. Now, it looks like also Sunday and Saturday is a repeat of what is happening. So even then, you might need to be careful and look at that kind of weather. And we're also looking at more of what is happening for the rest of Africa at this time of the year. You look at mostly the rain-bearing clouds that seem to be now moving mostly southwards. And of course, that has a lot to do with the fact that it is a dry season. Now, this usually cuts across the whole of East Africa, where you see even on the map there, you can see a lot of areas within Kenya in white colors. So that is indicative that they're also expecting quite a dry Sunday over there. Now, except a few areas within Tanzania that are still expected to have rains. You look at the southern area of Tanzania, you look at that is the western side, where we're seeing those green colors, meaning that they will continue with rainy conditions, but also that is within the alignment of the rain-bearing clouds, or what we call the rain belt, the ITCZ, that does influence the weather over Tanzania for this time of the year, and most likely that is what will be bringing us much more of those rains. Otherwise, do expect to have mostly hot conditions for this season, and of course it does continue. I told you the rains were only short-lived, and this is evident that now we're starting to see them clear out for mostly a dry day. Well, that is it in terms of weather updates. We'll be diving into what is happening across the country. We'll be getting into the entertainment, also show you what is likely to happen across several places, happening places. And when we're about that, we're talking about also topic earlier was being involved in your kids' lives. Maybe it's high time that if you're going happening this weekend, you'd rather take your kids along. And I do appreciate the parents that we usually see, especially within the cinema halls. You see a family coming, kids, and there are a lot of kids movies actually that you can still go on as a family and you know, be a part of. So that is something to also consider. Take your kids along with some of these events. If you're going maybe for a book read, you can always have books to keep kids indoors, and these are available. And even schools these days actually do recommend the reads for students. So buy them in time, make sure that your kids are able to read them, introduce them to something that is developmental in their lives. And that is also something to look out for this weekend, and make sure that, you know, you're having them involved and do activities that does better their lifestyle. But also take time to be with your kids. If you are unable to go out there or have an event that you're attending or have a fun activity to do with them, be at home with them. Make sure that, you know, they're telling you what they're going through. They can talk to you about, you know, their lives, their friends. And that is how you're able to monitor how your kids are really living out their lives. And it's a holiday. Probably they also have schoolwork that they still have to do. So that is something that as a parent, you should be involved in. And even as we give you tips on how to spend your weekend, how things are going to be like, I think your priority should also be along with family, and that is how we also get there and make sure that we are raising a generation that is responsible, a generation that will make us proud. You see a lot of parents right now crying and, you know, being hurtful because of what their kids are doing out there in the public. But because it's expected that, you know, it's kids, let them be, let them live their lives, you have parents that are crying, but they have no one to cry to. And I think we've gotten to that level where we now have to take charge and be responsible and get our kids in a very, very good state. I think that is very, very important. Well, we'll be taking a break after this, and of course, we know that entertainment is around the corner. What we can, you know, give you and what we can recommend, that is something that will also be upcoming right after we take a break.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
The movies for you to catch this weekend. The first one is one that is actually good for family. You can watch at all ages. It is rated at that. And of course, having more of the reviews coming through, 95% from Rotten Tomatoes. You know, this site doesn't just give percentage. We're talking about the movie Megan. Now, it is horror and sci-fi, but also something to go for this weekend. Now, Megan is a marvel of artificial intelligence. It is looking at a lifelike doll that is programmed to be a child's greatest companion now, and the parent's greatest ally. Designed by Gemma, a brilliant robotic, Megan can listen, watch, and learn as it plays the role of a friend and a teacher, playmate, and protector. Well, it looks like technology is getting there in terms of getting us companions for the kids, even when parents are not there. Now, it is a story about Gemma, who becomes the unexpected caretaker of her 8-year-old niece. Now, she decides to give the girl a Megan prototype, a decision that then leads into unimaginable consequences. But then again, there is a horror consequence. You want to think twice about this choice. Let's take a look into the trailer and see what the movie is all about.
It's honestly like she's part of the family now. They could be building emotional connections that are too hard to untangle. She's the happiest she's been since her parents died. Eat the toppings, Katie.
Research shows if you force a child to eat vegetables, they'll be less likely to choose those foods as adults.
Is that so?
Yes. Experts say...
Megan, turn off.
I thought we were having a conversation.
Does she talk? Make her say something.
Stop! Don't! Megan! You should probably run. Megan, did you push Brandon onto the road? I won't let anything harm you.
Megan, turn off.
Recalibrating response model. Megan! What's wrong with you? Don't worry, Katie. I won't let anything harm you.
Well, horror right there with the robotics in play. But that is already showing in cinema, and of course you can catch it at any of your cinema places that you do catch movies from. But also another movie that is also showing this week, and this did come out at the end of 2022. We're looking at a movie called A Man Called Otto. Well, this is a story that takes you through when a living young family moves in a next door, now grumpy widower Otto Anderson meets his match in a quick-witted, and this is a pregnant woman named Marisol, leading to unlikely friendship that turns his world upside down. Well, this is a movie, it's a comedy, and of course also rating more a 7.4 over 10, that is by IMDb, and also casting some of the famous American actors like Tom Hanks. Now, Tom Hanks is best known for movies like Castaway. He has been there. You also have actresses like Mariana Trevino and Manuel Garcia Raffo, who has also been known for some of the movies like that was in the series Castaway as well, right there for you. Let's take a look into the trailer.
Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Otto.
Otto?
O-T-T-O.
I'm Abby. O-T-T-O.
Got some new neighbors.
Bye.
Edward husband.
I brought you some food.
Okay. Bye.
Are you always this unfriendly?
I am not unfriendly.
Okay, you're not. Every word you say is like a warm cuddle. Can you please give me a ride? I don't have a license.
You don't have a driver's license? How old are you? Clutch in and brake. Brake. The car is stopped. Don't hit the car. Brake. Brake.
I almost hit the car.
It's all right. It's a hybrid.
Well, it's all right.
How did you get in here? No, no, no. You are not taking over my bed.
You can sit around and
I was wondering if you could help us out.
I'm not sure about this.
It's gonna be very fun.
How was it? You did a good job. You should pat yourself on the back.
well, it's all right.
I have a cat.
You think you have to do everything on your own? But guess what? No one can.
Even if the sun don't shine, well, it's all right. I'm Peppa!
You want to see a trick?
Yeah!
Could I borrow a coin?
What did you do?
Send me back to the corner! No, sir, no. It was all the clown's fault.
It's a family movie. It is interesting right there for you, and of course what unravels within a family, and also meeting friends and making new friendships right there for you. But also, if you're interested in the action, and I mean real action, this is the movie that you want to look out for. It is called Savage Salvation, also showing in cinema. It is mystery, it is adventure, and also with good ratings so far. And it takes you through a story of a recovering opium addict who wreaks vengeance on the dealers responsible for selling the drugs that resulted into his fiancée's death. Now, Sheriff Church and Detective Zeppelin try to prevent him from turning the town into a bloodbath. But how far do their efforts go? That is the question right there in the movie, when you have to look out for, featuring some of the actors like Robert De Niro, Jack Hudson, and also actresses like Willa Fitzgerald. That is right there. Let's take a look into the trailer and see what to expect from Savage Salvation.
Welcome to the family.
Blood underneath my skin.
I love you, Ruby Red.
Ruby?
Ruby, hey, babe, come on, wake up. Oh, Ruby, oh no. Ruby!
She wanted to be washed in the river.
Yeah, Ruby had choices, but some of them choices were made for her.
Who is it?
Shots fired with the suspect is armed.
I want you to feel what she felt when she died.
Shelly John suspected in the killing of a local heroin dealer.
If you find him, tell him I just want to talk.
Can I help you?
If he left you alive, you must have told him something. What was it?
I ain't seen.
Who do you work for?
You think God approves of what you've been doing? If that wasn't God pushing me to do his business, I don't know what it was. I still got some sin left to.
Savage salvation for you right there. A lot of action and of course the extent of vengeance in that movie. But how does it turn out? That is one you can catch this weekend, and it is still showing in cinema as well. Now, if you're unable to get into a movie and just want a good read, I want to recommend one of the most talked about books right now. Now, this did grace of course, the internet and the bookstores just 2 days ago, and it seems to be making a lot of headlines. We're talking about the book Spare, written by Prince Harry, that is the Prince of Sussex. Now, it is a memoir, and of course, it is talking about the Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, which was released on 10th of January. Now, it was ghostwritten by also some of the greatest writers like J.R. Moringa and published by the Penguin Random House. Well, it is a 416-page book and talks about his lifestyle, but also uncovers more of what is happening in the royal family, why he had to leave loyalty, and of course put his title aside, how far he would go. He was born to be the second born, which brings out the title of Spare to the heir. And he's referring to his brother, that is William, who is the future, and of course talking about Prince of Wales. Now, much more of what is talked about in this book is very controversial to what has been happening in the media, but also he brings out details of what you didn't know about royalty in the UK, but also a lifestyle of a family trying to care for their lives and trying to protect their family. What did that encompass? His journey right in there. The book is already on sale. That is across a lot of platforms. The Amazon is right there, also where you can get this book. And obviously also some of the book reads is also giving it out. It is already in bookstores across the US and some of the areas that are trying to extend, but you can get this book online. Apple Books also has it, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and of course you look at the Indie Bound also selling out this book now. There's a lot in that book, the tears and the joys, and a lot like would happen in a memoir is one you can expect from the book Spare, and a lot of relatable to how you can have different kids in a family. One is a spare, one is the heir. That is the story right there. And of course, one thing I also want to recommend for you this weekend is go get yourself something to dress with and make sure that you're smart. I'm talking about my designer, Alvin Clever. He is at Arua Park Plaza, shop number F2637. You can get him there, but he's also available on all his social media platforms. That is at Alvin Clever. You can go there, get yourself something to wear, and of course, look smart. Make sure that as you're going out for your weekend or even in any day, you can actually get the best designer dressing you, and that is Alvin Clever for you. We'll be at that. We do have sports coming up. Of course, this is also a long-awaited day for Chan. I'd be interested to know what Ruben will have in store for us. Of course, talking about what we can expect. And you see the group where Uganda is. Are we able to get through to that and, you know, for once, get over the group stages and get into the round of 16. We're still looking at that championship. I know Ruben will be taking us through much more of that. And of course, what is happening in other leagues. We'll take a break, after which we'll be getting back with sports.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
If I'm looking at issues of taxation and all that, I will definitely run for the Kateshumbas. Okay? Okay. If I look at, if I'm looking at issues of investments and what, I would definitely run. I would definitely run for Dr. Emure Kugonza and Honorable Omara. Okay? If I'm looking at issues of the law, I will run for our very, very own people. I have the Oboso Bosses, I have the Katuntus, I have the Robin Arwapojos. So everyone is talented in one way or another.
Did you mention Katuntu?
Okay. Yes.
Is he yours?
Yes, he is.
Yours as in NRM?
He is.
Was brought to you by
Gatawa with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial star 165 star 5 star 3 hash to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public. from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles,
Having disability is not inability.
professional guidance,
There's no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
and of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for Anita Mong and Tayebo?
That is laughable. Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
Every party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only by one MP, you yourself and my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it? Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
The quest, giver of life, Alpha without Omega. I am Africa.
Hail to Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, a land with the world's most beautiful, captivating features. Hills, mountains and valleys, the enigmatic animal species in the wild. A land where Africa is condensed into one small country with authentic endowments of nature and perfect safari. Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, is without the crowds with abundant primates, wildlife and stunning scenery. Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, takes you beyond the guidebooks, the known features and gives you the insights unmatched. Keep it UBC TV, where we inspire Uganda with authentic beauty and nature of our motherland. Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Discover the fountain.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Good Morning Uganda Friday special, coming to you live on UBC TV, where we live to inspire. Of course, We are still together, just a couple minutes to the end of the show. But for now, we did promise that it's a Friday, which is really special for a reason. And the reason is in studio with me right now, a very special guest, a singer, a songwriter, and a guitarist. Plus, his name just makes me happy. Maybe because of the meaning behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Adore. I hope I've gotten the name right.
Yeah, I believe so. It's
Good
Adore.
morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you too.
Adore is love, right?
Yeah, Okwagala.
Kwagala. The man has come with the Kwagala for you and me. So he's gonna be doing some amazing numbers for us. But how are you? How are you feeling? How is your Friday going?
I'm all right. Friday is a bit early, earlier than usual.
So you're not part of the 5 a.m. club?
I am not, because when we perform and you perform till late, so you sleep in a bit longer.
Yeah, the exhaustion, I totally understand.
So usually it's 11. That's my 6 a.m.
Oh, now for someone like me who had actually wanted you to join our crew, well, we have to be up by 4.
I think I might have to change the occupation.
Are you rejecting me? Are you rejecting my proposal? Anyway, Adore, ladies and gentlemen, he's here. He's going to be doing some beautiful, what are you doing for us anyway right now?
I'm going to do some original music, and then I might mash it up with something people recognize, since I believe I'm not there yet. But
You'll be there. When I see this instrument and everything, these are all green flags.
Amen.
You're going to get there.
Amen.
Well, we get into the performance straight right now.
All right, so this beautiful song, I call it beautiful because it's called Talk to Me. It's my latest release, and you know, I think everyone goes through this cliche feeling, the love feeling where you love somebody and you kind of are not together anymore. So this is the kind of song.
Been calling you for 6 days. Oh, I long for you. I made love, pick up or I'm texting you. But now you know I won't stop. No, tonight I'm coming over. The distance is killing my mind. Waterly no comfort. So come on, I pick up the phone. Well, I've been growing kind of fond of you and all the things we used to do. Making out on the roof, some calling me baby boo. Come and talk to me, baby. Omanyi wotova, bugumirira, talk to me now. Nsula sebaka, dikobuliri, talk to me. Akabozi kechirako kanyuma bitya, baby, talk to me. Engeri gyonnyogerera enfukabeza omubiri kunnuma emmeeme genderera mpola obwongo sikitegera binkula life enyigirizibwa nkwata mazima ddala kiki baby kiri ku nkyaya byonna byokola biri ku mulamwa. Don't hold back cancer do ever now. I wanna go to that and more, baby. Ulinga eddagala ly'obulwadde where you are, I'm counting on a good day. Don't neka, come on, pick up that celly. I know I'll be better if you talk to me. Omanyi wotova, bugumirira, talk to me now. Nsula sebaka, dikubuliri, talk to me, baby. Akabuzi kechirako kanyuma betya, talk to me, yeah. Engeri gyonnyogerera enfukamiza njoyedde boziryo oba akaseekuko singa nkulabako oba nkukwateko naawe ddi olaba mazima nze ge nnina mutima ngukwazika sijja kukuleka kkiriza nze tonzito muhabbati eno kuntuga ng'atege by'olina mu bungi byokka benjoya olinga eddala ly'obulwadde where you are, I'm counting on a good day. Don't neka, come on, pick up that celly. Baby, talk to me, baby. Omanyi wotova, bugumirira, talk to me now. Nsula sebaka, dikubuliri, talk to me.
All right, so that is Talk to Me, and It's off my recent release. So for some people who might recognize a bit, I would say, let me do a mashup of a song. Let me not spill the juice.
Give me your love potion, neweka bakatono nze mpako. Baby, give me your love potion, kakabe katono katya njagalako. Give me your love potion, twarako. Baby, give me your love potion. Sakalo gambe ntinkwesibako, byenkugamba toneragirako, kugamba nkumatira bisoko, kyonna mpa kyenalyako, tikumatira nga bwematira emisokoto, sipokokoto baby sipokopoko, yatukete na mikete kasokosoko, omutima siriguzanyisa songo, pala potion concoction kongo, ulago mokwano gw'ebiroko, kulemere kongeko kasatoba na changwe chinaza. Baby, give me your love potion, neweka bakatono nze mpako. Baby, give me your love potion, kakabe katono katya njagalako. Give me your love potion, twarako. Baby, give me your love potion.
So the mashup is the next song is an original composition. It's called Rosetta.
Baby, give me your love potion. Give me your love potion. Stone Cold, muyaye wechibuga. You don't wanna know her name. She's a trickster, tali kubya mpisa. You don't wanna know her name. You don't wanna know her. You don't wanna know her name. You don't wanna know her. You don't wanna know her name. That Rosetta girl, she out here on the quest to destroy humans. That Rosetta girl, nigga, watch out or you'll end up a prey. Talina mokwana gwa molimba, chava kwe kumenya bewa zimba. That Rosetta girl, mokwana ngomanya biyo bisibute. Tia cho chikola, ngomanya tomete cho chikola. Bami tukusibute cho chikola, ngomanya tomete. Ngabami tukusibute. Stone Cold, muyaye wechibuga. You don't wanna know her name. She's a trickster, tali kubya mpisa.
Thank you.
Say you don't wanna know, yeah. I said, give me your love potion, kabe katono katya njagalako.
Thank you.
Well, a mashup of Love Potion and
An original composition called Rosetta.
Rosetta.
Yeah.
It's a nice name. It's a nice name. Would you call your daughter Rosetta?
Why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
I knew it.
Well, of course, some good vibes. I like the voice, I must say.
Appreciate.
Definitely works well.
Morning voice, though, your apologies.
No,
you know the morning.
It is what it is.
For someone who wakes up at 11, this is too morning for me.
No, it is. I think it's quite good, and it does
so
bring
much.
a bit of course, freshness to the day.
Right.
It's good to wake up to some kind of good vibes, and definitely some love. I had a lot of love in what you're singing.
It's called Adore, meanwhile, which...
Yeah, Adore.
Love, of course.
So what's the inspiration for this name?
Adore, well, I think it goes way back since I was a child. I grew up in an Adventist school called Bugema. So Bugema Primary, then Bugema Secondary. So Adventists love a cappella music.
You are an Adventist.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
Yeah, we
I just love their worship.
I know,
and
right?
I love the particular families. I don't know if you've come across Adventist families. They are so unique. Like they're in their own world in a good way.
Yeah.
Right.
With due respect, I have lots of friends from how they bring up their kids, how they're intentional about prayer. They're just different from
Right.
Well,
so yeah, I grew up in that community, that kind of life,
good.
and quartets, which are music groups, were a thing. So I always wanted our group to be called Adoration Quartet, and no one wanted that.
So you
no one wanted that.
If they don't want it, I'll take it.
Forever, it became a nickname. So when I grew up, I was like, what can I call myself? Like, you can't call yourself Adoration; it's too corny. So I was like, I think I will look for the name that represents love and ended up with Adore.
And the name that they refused. You take it yourself. You'll be like, if I can't take it, I'll have it. But anyway, it's some good music.
Appreciate it.
So what kind of projects have you done before? Have you done a particular project? Who have you worked with? I'm told you're a writer.
Yeah.
Who have you wrote music for?
All the songs I've written.
Done productions for who?
And then I've written for movies as well.
Ooh.
I'm an actor as well.
You are?
Yeah, and currently we're working on a movie, but I can't spill the juice yet.
She wants to act as. Take her.
Well, I want to pursue.
We'll talk business.
Yeah, we'll talk business.
Anyway.
I just need to prove a point to these people who think that I can't.
You have no other
when it
talent
comes to
besides
acting,
this.
they say that is not your forte. But I have a point to prove.
Anyway, so I write all my music, and I've written for some movies as well. I've written for artists as well. But most of my writing, if you listen to my songs, I think you can notice it's not the typical kind of style. And I like it that way because I'm a live performer as well. I do band performances.
Okay, so how would you categorize your writing though?
I would categorize it as unboxed. I would say that. Not saying it's a genre. I'm saying it's. I don't like a category, like putting you see how they say Michael Rose is this style.
It limits
and then it limits you,
Absolutely.
right? So if when I release my EP, you'll hear dancehall, you hear ballads, you hear
a bit of
R&B, you
so
get
you're an
Afro
all-rounder.
vibes.
I get.
I like what Ed Sheeran does, and it's a good thing because you can't box him. Say he's only a wedding singer, because you'll hear him in a club.
You go where your inspiration takes you.
Exactly.
Wow,
So yeah,
Ed Sheeran. Now I'm getting an Ed Sheeran kind of
vibe.
The guitar and the head sock and all kind of gives off the vibe. Okay.
So where is your music? In case our viewers want to find your music, where can we get your music?
My music,
social medias. Or
my music is on every platform. I would say YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify. I think wherever you can stream from.
As long as there's music, there's your music.
And so far, I only have I think a couple songs out. I think my YouTube has almost all of them under my profile.
Okay.
Apple Music has only 4, and then Spotify only has 5, I think. So, but I go under. You can search. Okay, like this one I sang, "Talk to Me." You can type "Talk to Me" by Adore, and you'll get it anywhere. So, on either platform, I believe.
So, Adore, do you love sports?
I would say, I'm not going to lie.
Clearly he doesn't love sports, but if he's taking on that long
explaining, you know I don't.
If you stay with that whole...
then you don't.
This is what I'm going to say. I own a gym, so I love athletics, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a businessman, so.
Well, gym and sports, there is a relation with
so
that's the closest.
Yeah, I know. But think about it.
There is a relation.
Think about it. That's why they work all their energy on the field. It starts from the gym, so.
There is a relation. I want to believe it.
But anyway, you know that
I started a journey, a weight loss journey. I started like 8 days ago.
Who's losing weight? You?
Well, if you saw when I released my song called Time and I had a great body. You can check out my Instagram.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Life of Adore. That's my handle. You will see my pictures and you're like, okay, you actually do gain weight.
Some good one.
So yeah, I started a weight loss journey. So I believe when you talk about sports, I would incline you to the gym.
Okay, that's a good one. But okay, also apart from that, Philo, you know that Chan will be kicking off.
Yeah.
And definitely UBC is going to be at the top of these games, and we're going to be giving you more than 30 games, I'm told. And definitely today, we're going to have some games, and we'll be having Algeria. There will be Algeria against Libya today. That is at 22. That is 22. That is 10 o'clock. And Ethiopia, Mozambique. Then tomorrow. That's tomorrow. We'll be having Mozambique and Ethiopia, and then also Congo and Uganda. Now, definitely we're going to be having lots and lots of updates of this particular championship, which is Chan. Uganda is well equipped, represented, we must say, away from the rumors we had previously about where it will not be able to perform. So, UBC is doing it again. We can't wait to see. Well, you gave us a good ride, UBC, for World Cup. We're going to do the same thing for Chan. And definitely you don't want to miss the good commentary by the likes of Otai, who will be there commenting for the various matches, the likes of Ruben Kaseda and Pima, Fifi Pinky, John Barnes, Michael, and many, many others who will be here to give you the updates of this particular championship or this particular cup. And of course, there'll be a couple of goodies to get away with, and you can be a part of this. I think they'll be letting you know how you're going to be a part of this whole campaign. But far from that, it is Friday. So, Mr. Adore, where are you going to be? Where do people find you?
Friday.
Away from your gym, definitely. Not at your gym.
By the way, I actually did that because I wanted to subsidize my payment expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a gym that wasn't working and the guy wasn't making any money. I told him, you know what? Let me rent your gym and give me money monthly. Kumbe for me, I'll get followers who come and pay me instead. But anyway, Fridays I usually perform at Olives on Fridays. But I think for now we're pausing a bit because there are some noise complaints, so we're pausing a bit. So Friday, for now, I'm going to be writing in studio because I'm releasing an EP, I think July.
Which is really not so
far. I know. So when I'm not performing, I'm in studio.
So you do have a band?
Yes, I own a band.
Which band is that?
It's called Band Adore.
Band.
I know, still monopolizing.
He's trying to prove a point. So just for me, lastly, Philo, as we do conclude. This topic we're talking about parenting earlier. I don't know, you saw a couple of videos that I watched social media about this little girl they were beating. The beater and the BT were all some lousy young girls. And then later on we had an audio that allegedly was leaked of Gashumba talking painfully, by the way, about the daughter, saying this and this, I feel bad as a parent. We couldn't see him, but in his voice was crying almost. So, and many other scenarios you've seen about parenting. I just want to get your quick comment about parenting, just a quick one.
Right. Personally, on the first video, I would say I think young girls are getting most of their parenting from social media. Because if a girl feels it's okay to hit another girl because of a man, that means whoever brought them up didn't give them enough self-esteem. You get that means they're either not being brought up by their own parents, because it's to even know that assault is okay means you've not been brought up well.
And you're recording it and you think it's funny.
You get. That's all I can say about that. About Gashumba, all I can say is that, well, depending on the family you come from, there are some families where they dictate
everything you do, how you do it.
Because she's a successful woman compared to most Ugandan people of her age. She's quite successful. She's hosting nights, she's doing this. So if she chooses a man according to what she deems worth, I really don't see what's wrong with it.
Probably before you have probably because you have dreadlocks.
Exactly.
Being defensive, but anyway, I just threw that in.
For a quick one on the dreads, do you realize that in the 1960s, here before the independence, to have an official job you had to cut your hair because the whites deemed it right? Have you ever noticed that?
You said that, and it reminds me of a certain Kenyan minister. I think it was kind of viral on Twitter, and he was talking about how people in certain professions or professional directions shouldn't be wearing probably dreadlocks. And he kind of made reference to doctors. He talked about engineers. He also talked about, I think, another profession. And then I think as a way of responding, a couple of people, actually very many professionals in the said lines came out showing themselves with the dreadlocks.
And
I was like,
it's an African source of pride, by the way. Before the whites came in, I see. That's exactly what they say. That's what they say exactly. Whenever you corner them.
I wish I had hair. I'm bald. I wish I had hair. That argument would fall well, but clearly.
Makes sense.
But long hair was really something to be proud of by Africans.
Even when you go to the Bible, Solomon and the very ministers.
There's nowhere they mentioned that neatness meant having. You just need to keep it.
You can have your dreadlocks, wash them, clean them, style them.
Well, I hope Gashumba is listening.
Has some special issues to deal with. Well,
you'll be fine.
Good morning, Uganda Friday special. Well, it is time for us to, we love you, but we have to leave you as it is every single Friday. But for staying with us all the way from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday till now, it's quite a very, very, very special moment between we and also you, our GMU family. Guess what? The weekend is here. Go do what you have to do. I'm pretty sure Felix would say go to church, right? Am I lying?
I want to say that again. Please. When you're going to church, take your children.
Don't leave them behind.
Who take them to church. They need to be in the presence of God. They need some anointing. They need some grace. Please carry your family. These things of saying the mother is going, then you leave the father snoring and the kids do. take your families to church. Church is where you need to be on the weekend. Period.
Okay. Ado, as we are signing out, what are your social media handles? How do we get to you?
Right, thank you. My social media handles are Life of a Door on every platform.
Life
Twitter,
of a Door.
Instagram, everywhere.
Okay.
TikTok.
There you go. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as well.
No, YouTube just goes by Adore.
Adore.
Yeah.
Okay. Go look for this man and let's see. We have to leave you, but he's going to be giving you the last performance, and hopefully we will see each other on Monday. Good morning.
All right, so for the very last performance, it was for the very last performance, I would sing my very first song. It's called Gwansanira. It's for the reggae lovers. I believe you'll enjoy this one.
Come make me happy, hug me baby, my body overflowing. I wanna love you, I wanna be your man, baby. Tikumacha zetonsibula bosi mogambe tochakula zikiriza lafu wendeta njagala nkukwateko feeling nenantoko wobula ijankoreche ngonomwa nekankokondaje rafu wanje uri mutima gwange. With your love I can live forever after. Come make me happy. Be my one and only. I wanna love you, I wanna be your man, baby. Nzakwagala. Be my mwagalwa. Gwansanira, oh honey, lady. Buli omu abana mwagala mukisa okuba omwagalwa onsaanira nnyo asembera nkubulira gwa kyewankola. When she loves she's affectionate. Obunda kwenda handi wanje tendyashena. Nzakwagala. Bima mwagalwa. Gwansanira, oh honey, baby. Nzakwagala. Bima mwagalwa. Gwansanira, oh honey, lady. Nzakwagala. Bima mwagalwa. Gwansanira, oh honey, lady.
Thank you very much. You can find all my social media, all my music on my social medias. Thank you.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel.